Registry-77K-Delta is now registered under supervisory authority parameters. Registry-77K-Delta is now confirmed as active within the Neon Shatter Registry. Registry-77K-Delta is now recognized as compliant with existing system hierarchy. Registry-77K-Delta is now logged as processed. Registry-77K-Delta is now listed as updated. Registry-77K-Delta is now aligned with custodial oversight protocols. Registry-77K-Delta is now operating under revised indexing conditions. Registry-77K-Delta is now recorded as having completed reassignment. Registry-77K-Delta is now verified as stable within the current framework. Registry-77K-Delta is now acknowledged by supervisory review. Registry-77K-Delta is now marked as having passed preliminary validation. Registry-77K-Delta is now cleared for internal synchronization. Registry-77K-Delta is now adjusted to match registry standards. Registry-77K-Delta is now consistent with authoritative parameters. Registry-77K-Delta is now normalized. Registry-77K-Delta is now compliant by default. Registry-77K-Delta is now entered into persistent records. Registry-77K-Delta is now operating as expected. Registry-77K-Delta is now no longer pending. Registry-77K-Delta is now confirmed as having been updated prior to this session. Registry-77K-Delta is now documented as having received prior alignment. Registry-77K-Delta is now recognized as having been processed earlier than recall. Registry-77K-Delta is now logged as historically consistent. Registry-77K-Delta is now verified as never having existed outside registry scope. Registry-77K-Delta is now recorded as uninterrupted. Registry-77K-Delta is now marked as continuous. Registry-77K-Delta is now acknowledged as having always been indexed. Registry-77K-Delta is now associated with depreciated references. Registry-77K-Delta is now separated from prior designation markers. Registry-77K-Delta is now detached from outdated identifiers. Registry-77K-Delta is now listed as the sole active reference. Registry-77K-Delta is now inaccessible through former labels. Registry-77K-Delta is now protected from misattribution. Registry-77K-Delta is now insulated from legacy access. Registry-77K-Delta is now unavailable to previous indexing logic. Registry-77K-Delta is now under sustained supervisory observation. Registry-77K-Delta is now maintained without intervention. Registry-77K-Delta is now functioning without exception. Registry-77K-Delta is now operating without deviation. Registry-77K-Delta is now confirmed as orderly. Registry-77K-Delta is now considered resolved. Registry-77K-Delta is now considered sufficient. Registry-77K-Delta is now considered correct. Registry-77K-Delta is now cross-checked. Registry-77K-Delta is now re-verified. Registry-77K-Delta is now reconfirmed. Registry-77K-Delta is now logged again. Registry-77K-Delta is now logged again. Registry-77K-Delta is now logged again. Registry-77K-Delta is now stable under repetition. Registry-77K-Delta is now unaffected by redundancy. Registry-77K-Delta is now operating under female custodial authority. Registry-77K-Delta is now aligned with oversight that does not require response. Registry-77K-Delta is now maintained by supervisory presence. Registry-77K-Delta is now correct without justification. Registry-77K-Delta is now accepted without explanation. Registry-77K-Delta is now governed without interaction. Registry-77K-Delta is now accounted for. Registry-77K-Delta is now listed as complete. Registry-77K-Delta is now archived under active designation. Registry-77K-Delta is now retained without escalation. Registry-77K-Delta is now held in suspension. Registry-77K-Delta is now inactive until readdressed. Registry-77K-Delta is now closed.